Okay guys, so this is my personal story dealing with my mental health. I thought this would be an appropriate video as it is Suicide Awareness Month. I thought, you know, this would be the appropriate video to start off this month. All hits, comments are closed, but the next couple of videos would be based on suicide awareness and mental health impact on the whole. So basically I had started dealing with depression at the age of 13 going into 14. I had now going to enter into secondary school, but it came to light that I was suffering from depression from that age, because that's when it is I first started cutting. They also found one of my sisters also found my diary and got to realize that I was suffering from the and it all started because of the fact that I had basically been sexually assaulted from a young age. So it started to affect me from that. I eventually started cutting because I didn't know how to handle it, and I was feeling guilty, and I was feeling I was the one wrong at the point, and like I can tell anyone. Eventually I started cutting. My sister got to realize what was going on, so she eventually with my sister on my secondary school at the point had gotten me to see psychiatrist because of the cutting, and realizing that I was starting to suffer from depression at that age when it came to the light. I had recovered to a certain extent at the age of 14, but I had relapsed after my dad had gotten sick for my golden birthday, would have been, and eventually at the age of 14 I had my relapse after he passed away, because my dad was basically my best friend and I had just lost him, and I didn't know how to cope, and I didn't want to tell anyone how I was feeling. So I eventually started back cutting again, but I started to cut in smarter ways this time, as to I knew that I didn't want anyone seeing. So I would hide in places and cut in places where it is I know no one would see. So that was at the age of 14. I continued cutting at the age of 15. I started drinking at the age of 16, in fact. When it is cutting wasn't helping as much. It helped, but I needed something else, because I started to feel empty and alone and everything at that point. And it was because it is also I had, when it is I first entered my first relationship, it was an abusive relationship, which was at a very young age. I had my first boyfriend at 14, and it was an abusive relationship, and I didn't heal from that. I jumped in, and the next relationship would also turn out to be abusive to a certain extent. That was also my second relationship, and again that was the trend, that I would just jump into relationship after relationship with my partners being abusive. And it eventually, after being in the abusive relationships, I take on drinking, and I started to go downhill from there. After it is I started drinking, I didn't see me living till the age of 21. So I started to put things into place and make plans. I lived today for today. I didn't really care anything. Yes, it is I hid it from everyone. I hid that part from me from everyone, because I was so good at hiding how I was feeling. I would always be smiling, I would always be laughing, I look joyous, but I know that was just the show, for a show, basically. it went on for that, like, for till the age of 18. 19 is when it is I made my first attempt, basically, and I had taken some pills and went to sleep, not expecting to get up back a couple days after, in fact. When I did, I was pissed at myself. I continued, and I didn't know why. Eventually, I was seen by the psychiatrist, then recommended to get treated for depression on the whole. And because of that, I didn't really care anything, as I said. So yeah, I basically had my plan, and it didn't work that time. But I was like, you know what, it will be worth I tried it next time, because I didn't want to live. I was just going through the emotions. I was in a relationship after relationship, being abused, emotionally and physically, and I hid it. I was so good at hiding those things. And I think that all I was keep thinking to myself, that is what I would, that I don't deserve better. I that's all I could get. And eventually at 20, I tried again. Would have been a couple hours before my 20th birthday. I tried again, and I had drunk toilet bowl cleaner at that point, and eventually I had just given up. After I drank the toilet bowl cleaner, I remember thinking to myself, well, this is it, and I'm glad to just be over with, because I was tired of feeling so being a burden to everyone, tired of feeling so empty, so lonely, crying myself to sleep every night. I was just tired of it. I didn't want to feel anything no more. And as I say, I went looking for love in the wrong places, in other words. And 4 of my relationships have actually been raped. So yeah, all that kept adding on. At the age of 20, I eventually decided, you know what, again, when, as I said, I tried a couple hours before my 20th birthday, but again I remained awake because I could not have breathed. So because when I drank toilet bowl cleaner, my throat had swollen up, so all hair was swollen up, but I could not have breathed. So I was remaining awake, fighting for the breath. I did eventually end up in hospital bed, and again I was admitted to the hospital, and I was treated. I was discharged. I didn't plan on making it to even to my 21st birthday, as I said. So again, I was pissed that I even survived that second time. I was pissed on myself because I didn't want to live, and I don't know why it is. I kept surviving. Why it had to have a reason, that I kept surviving every time. So eventually I had planned my second attempt. Would have been just a couple months back. Although I was in group sessions up to recently, the beginning of this year, that helped. I started back feeling empty, I started back feeling lonely, and just not worth anything again. So eventually I was like, you know what, I had enough. This time I planned it so well. I had everything thought out, as to what it is I was going to do. I did not plan on, I surely didn't want to survive this third attempt. you know, but somehow I have managed just to find ways to manage to cope. I have managed to somehow find fighting me to continue fighting as every day goes along, and take it day by day. There are days when it is I still have my time. I still do have hard times. I still do feel like I do not want to go on sometime, but I find that within me, it has to have a reason why even the first 2 attempts that I have survived, there has to be a reason. And I kept looking, I kept searching, and I eventually realized that, what, there's better things out there for me. I deserve better. I deserve the best. I don't deserve the things that happened to me. I never deserved it. I have basically been through so much that I didn't want to live, as I said. But again, as I keep hearing other person's stories, it reminds me of how much stronger I am than I think I really am. And it's what helps me up to this day to keep on going, to keep on fighting through and not actually give in. It has actually been 2 months I've been clean from self-harm. I've actually been starting through a lot better compared. I've actually started taking care of myself, and starting loving me, basically. I have goals that I'm working towards too. I have things that I actually want in life. So yeah, that's just how it goes. Over the years it has not been easy, but I've always come out on the other side, and I know I will come out on the other side even as I battle, and that things will get better. And it does. You don't always feel this way. You don't. And I got to realize that, what, it's worth keep fighting for, not to give in, because I know I have the support around me from people. I have people supporting me, and who cares and loves me a lot. I know that. So I have also been able to make it over the years because of those people being there, always have been there no matter what, who understands how it is I feel sometimes, I guess, and that I'm not in this battle alone, and that they're there with me, so yeah, I hope this kind of helped you to see that, no matter what, that you're stronger than you think, you deserve better than you think at this point. You don't deserve